I just stopped in after work. It's Thursday and getting kind of geared up for Sunday. One of our viewers, Paula, is going to be making the trek, coming up the highway and visiting us to help out with the lighting in particular. He knows all about the electrical stuff, also drywalling. We're going to get a look at that and see what he suggests. But in particular, we're going to take care of this lighting on Sunday, so I want to get up in the roof today and just get a look at what we're up against as far as the cabling, the wiring, and getting these fixtures up there. So let's go take a look. All this wiring. You're going to see how dumb I am when it comes to electrical. You can see that a lot of stuff is just kind of draped, eh? So I don't know when this was put in or who put it in, but it's actually sitting on the drop ceiling, which isn't necessarily a good thing. So that's going to the existing fixtures, just like that. So we're going to pull out those fixtures, and you notice that the fixture does have some chain to secure it to the trusses. It looks like that. Okay. So I don't know all this stuff, but we're going to learn it together. And this Sunday, of course, with Paulo here, we're going to learn a lot about this stuff, but I figure we'll take a look. Okay, so up here, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess that's where it all comes into, and that's a bit of a hack job, if I ever saw one. So I don't think that's up to code, my friend. And that's coming in from a pipe right there. I don't know if we can see that. There it is. And it goes way over there. All right, so that's probably fine there. Oh, we've got another junction box over here that again is kind of wide open. There it is. And not too sure what everything is going to. It is kind of a bit of a mess. So what we want to do is we want to get some, obviously, okay, we're going to replace all of the lighting fixtures in the place. The landlord has provided us with replacement fluorescent fixtures. Then we also want to get a couple of, now we've got lots and lots of electrical outlets in the studio space itself, but we don't have any in our storage room. I want to get a light and some electricity in the storage room itself, and then that's going to give us the ability to put servers and things in the storage room and that kind of stuff. Okay, so does that give us enough to go on as far as what we need to do? I'm going to move around a little bit. Let's move over to another opening here in the ceiling. See if I can get up in here. I'll get the flashlight for you too. So that's what we're looking at. So there is a lot of electrical cabling. It is, like I say, it's all just draped here. It's just hanging. I don't know if it's supposed to be affixed to anything or what, but it doesn't seem right. Just kind of draped. That can all be moved though, I suppose. I've got a speaker here in the ceiling, which I'm not sure how it works because it has a built-in amplifier. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's actually volume. I can hear a little bit of a hiss when I turn it up. Anyway, so there we go. That is the electrical stuff in the drop ceiling. So we'll see what we're up against this Sunday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I count 10 of these fixtures that are currently installed. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got exactly enough to replace each of the fixtures that are currently here. And that's good. And then we've got all the bulbs as well. So very good. Getting some of the surveillance cameras set up as well today. If only Robert were here, I'll bet you he could do this without even having to use a ladder. Huh. Another open junction box. Oh, and another one. of your new backstage pass cameras right here. I think Studio D is going to have much more interesting stuff for you to look at. That's pretty cool. Look who's here. All I did was walk by.
It's a sneak attack.
How's it going?
Not bad, how are you?
You just get here?
Yeah.
Doing good.
So, the first thing we've got to do is scrape out this old caulking.
Yeah.
It's pretty well, you can see it's shot. It's all dried up.
Kind of powdery.
Well, no, that was just a little bit of a cocoon from
that was just a cocoon. Okay.
Or something. So, yeah, no, we're just going to cut out the existing stuff and put a fresh new bead of caulking in, seal up these nasty little holes.
Great.
We'll do the stuff on the bottom and we'll do the ones up in the top as well. It looks like they're the same thing.
Yeah.
We're going to use EcoBond.
Sounds great.
Yeah, this is a really good product. It's
EcoBond.
EcoBond. Everything's eco nowadays, right?
Yeah, of course. It's environmentally safe.
Well, it is. It's a non-toxic replacement for silicone, so it doesn't give off any VOC gases. It's one of the few caulkings that you can actually use on surfaces that are damp. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and in
good for swimming pools, I guess, and things like that. I guess.
Well, actually, they do another one. It's a clear silicone as well, or clear EcoBond.
Anti-silicone. Yeah.
And it's one of the few that's perfectly clear. Like some of the caulkings, the silicones that you get have that milky sort of appearance to it, as opposed to a clear, crystal clear. And so they use them for aquariums as well.
Cool.
Very good product. Doesn't sag. Anyway, all kinds of good things about it.
Okay, so the question is, what can I do?
What can you do?
I was inside just putting up some surveillance.
Some surveillance?
Yeah.
For people that might be sneaking around my van?
Basically, yeah.
There's not really much you can do because I only have one caulking or one X-Acto blade with me. If I had
what kind of X-Acto? Is it the same thing as Andy lent me for doing the drywall?
Well, let's see what you've got.
That's what I did all this work with. And this is how I was able to get such a clean edge.
You know what you're supposed to do, though, is when you do it, you get a chalk line, right? You get somebody on this end, you get somebody on that end, you get a chalk line, and you can strike it across.
Okay.
And I've done
I see. Like the thing that you...
and actually what I prefer to use is a Sawzall. And you take the Sawzall, it's really fast, right?
Is that a rotary?
Yeah, it's like it's a Sawzall that you can use different types of blades in it.
Okay.
And you just keep it on an angle so that your depth is at the same height and just cut right straight across.
So could I come in here with my Dremel tool, for example, with a blade on it, and finish
the one that vibrates
cleaning it
a
up?
little bit?
Well, it's a pretty good Dremel.
Well, they create I'll tell you, because I've tried that as well, right?
Okay.
When you use a Dremel, it generates a ton of dust.
Gotcha.
A Sawzall is just like a reciprocating saw.
Do you have one of those?
I do, actually. Not with me, but I do.
Okay.
So maybe tomorrow even, I can scooch by and just, we'll snap a line on here. We'll put a nice clean cut. It'll be nice and straight. It would actually look awesome. And then, this kind of stuff here, you're obviously going to have to take
the sills.
Here.
Yeah, and the sills need to be replaced anyways.
Yep. So, but anyway, the Sawzall is Handyman's nightmare and dream all at the same time.
Okay, so I've got to clarify this because people have been watching Day 7, Studio D Day 7, and said that they were thinking the same thing that you said about my nice job here.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, I want to clarify that what I did here, Robert, was mold remediation, not drywall.
Well, okay.
And if I did a miserable job of the drywall, at least there's no smell of mold in here.
No, there is no smell of mold right now. So
you should have seen it. There's black mold all along here.
Well, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
But
See, I did a great job.
Great job. But
all we need is a sawzall.
Yeah, and what you would do, and I watched your video, by the way, of you folding up the drywall and packing it into the box.
Yeah.
That was pretty entertaining too. So tomorrow, if you're going to be around, I'll see if I can maybe come by maybe we'll come by early in the morning.
Yeah, I can do 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll come by early in the morning and we'll snap a line. I'll see if I can get my hands on my gear is a little bit in a couple different locations right now.
Yeah.
But if I can get my hands on my sawzall, maybe even tonight I'll have it all packed up. Come up here. We'll snap a line.
All right.
And we'll cut a nice straight edge.
Sounds great.
And then I'll show you
the drywaller. Well, thank you. That's good. I think now, though, my success, if you will, is now when we go through here and we clean this up, we're dealing with clean drywall.
And I saw your suit too, your zoot suit with the tape on the...
It was safe.
It was safe.
It was safe. But now we're going to be working with clean drywall. So when we come in here with your Sawzall tomorrow morning, we don't have to worry about, we don't have to dress up like that. We don't have to worry about the mold.
We're not going to put on the...
Exactly. We're dealing with dust, not mold. No. So that's the point. That's my point. I have defended myself effectively. Now, back to work.
Yeah, let's get going.
Is that going to do?
This is great.
Okay,
This will work actually better than the one I've got because it's a little bit longer.
All right.
So you're just going to go along and you're going to cut out the existing caulking.
Okay.
So you're just cutting it along.
Nice straight edge.
Keep it as straight as you can.
And then the top as well.
And down along the top. And then once you've cut it on the top and on the bottom, then we're just going to pull that out of there. Once you start it, you can usually...
Oh yeah, just like give it a pull and
it'll all start to come, right? There you go. Le voila. You know, it's amazing how long this stuff really holds up, doesn't it?
Good 20 or 30 years here.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's one of those things that people just don't realize that if you don't maintain this kind of thing, it has the amount of damage that can result from it.
Even just the bugs that are getting in and eating away at the walls.
The bugs and, you know, water, we can't live without water, clearly. But we certainly struggle with trying to prevent water from creating so much damage. You know, and it does so many positive things for us.
Yeah.
But in terms of construction, it is definitely one of the most significant problems that we have in every area, right? Whether it be a roof or whether it be masonry walls or whether...
That's what we found coming in here. Like I didn't expect to have that amount of water coming in. It was pouring rain the day that we got the unit.
Oh yeah.
And so I was actually here with the landlord. He'd just given me the keys and it was pouring rain here in Barrie. And then lo and behold, water starts dumping into the unit. So he was here, so he got to see it. So that was kind of good.
Oh yeah, that's just what it is, right? And it's amazing because, you know, whether it be this kind of a situation with caulking, you know, and one of the things that Andy probably talked to you about quite extensively is how you really need to make sure that you capture the water and move it away. If you move the water away, then it doesn't do any damage, right? It's what happens in like this situation. Eaves. Look at the eaves here. It's just going to continue to come down here. We've got to figure out what you're going to do on the bottom at some point.
Right. It looks
like we'll seal up the cracks.
It looks like there used to be a bit of a trough-like, almost.
No, you know what's happened. You know what's happened is over time, what's happened is this is just continually eroded. Yeah. And now look at the ditch that you've got right up against the wall.
Yeah. That's
got your own ditch, which has been filmed.
I'm looking for comments here on YouTube. I'm not being rude. Because I think it's important to involve our viewers here today. And if you have any questions for us, make sure you pop me an email live at category5.tv and I'll pass it along to the appropriate person.
That wouldn't be us.
It might be. You might be surprised. Well, one viewer, and I'm sorry that I don't have your name here, I've got YouTube up and I can't find you, was a little bit upset with you that you weren't correcting my pronunciation over the word Kelvin.
Oh.
So you got to be a little more rough with me because the pronunciation's an issue here. So we're dealing with lights that are 5,000 Kelvin, not necessarily 5,000 Kelvin.
It's not a person.
It's the color temperature of the sun,
Kelvin,
not the actual temperature of the sun. Got it. Okay, so
that is funny though, isn't it? How I love the internet.
say things weird all the time, and I think it's just because I don't have anyone to tell me how to say it except Eric Kidd.
Tough stuff.
This stuff is nasty. It's thick.
It's thick. It's tough. It's so clearly it was a decent caulking when it was installed. It's just like you say, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So they put in 20-year caulking. Well, no, it's 19-year caulking.
This is almost as durable as the LED lighting.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So what do you think about the ballasts and things in those LED lights? Are they going to go? Because Jot was mentioning his concern with those, even though the bulbs are going to last a fair long time. What about the other components?
That's a very interesting comment, and it's a very appropriate comment because one of the first things that's going to go in an LED bulb will be the ballast. So,
Is it part of the bulb itself?
Well, you have to remember that you're bringing in 120 volt or 227, or in Canada 347, which is a little bit of an anomaly. But the majority of things that tend to go wrong initially are the ballasts, because you're taking that 120 volt and you're going to be changing it or converting it to 12
very
volt
low,
or 24
and it's
volt.
a low voltage too.
Low voltage, right? So, and the same is true actually. Even when you talk about fluorescent lights, they do the same thing. So the ballast in a fluorescent fixture is changing the voltage from 120 to whatever they're using in that particular bulb, right? So one of the things you hear from people that are talking about fluorescent tubes is electronic ballast, and there was a battle going on between electronic ballast and magnetic ballast, and which is a better ballast.
Yep.
And what it really came down to was electronic ballasts, when they first came out, were a lot more efficient, and everyone jumped on board, but they hadn't been proven out yet.
Oh, okay.
And so they ended up with a bunch of...
It's an evolving technology, I think, too, right?
Well, it was at that time. I mean, there's quite a few years behind it now, so...
Sure.
So the electronic ballasts have proven themselves out in a lot of different ways. They're actually not as robust as a magnetic ballast, but the magnetic ballast isn't as efficient.
Oh, I see.
That's why they went to an electronic ballast.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it anyway. And so when people are talking about that situation with LEDs, they're bang on.
Mm-hmm.
Often what ends up deteriorating first is the ballast or the power supply or driver. Those.
Okay. So can you replace just those little components, or are they part of the...
No, well,
So
it depends on
so
what
even
it
if
is.
the bulb is going to last 20 years, you might have to replace it after 5? If the ballast goes.
Well, the testing that they're supposed to be doing is, and now, there's different companies that are out there that do independent testing.
Yep.
And one is called Lighting Facts.
Okay.
They will certify your bulb or your LED light.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some safeguards out there if you're going to go down that road. But that's funny that people say that, because that was the biggest problem when LEDs first came out was the drivers just weren't there.
Once again, you make this look so bloomin' easy. And I also realize every time a car goes by, they're looking at us because they think we're breaking in.
Well, that's okay. If they pull over, maybe we'll get them to help.
Grab an X-Acto knife.
Yeah, help us break in. Well, that would be pretty funny, wouldn't it?
Isn't it a ridiculous way to break in? We're going to remove all the silicone from the windows and eventually get to the point where we can lift it up.
Because we don't want to damage anything.
Oh yeah, we don't want to have anything left behind. The only way they'll be able to tell that we broke in was A, all the missing stuff, and B, the silicone has all been replaced with eco-friendly alternatives.
That's so funny. You know what? It's such a pleasure working with people that have a sense of humor and just want to have a good time. Right?
Well, I'm sorry if you don't enjoy working with me. No, I'm serious. I put more toothpaste on my toothbrush. Does that remind you of the walls inside at all?
Some beaver action going on there.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too far here. Holy cow. So I'm getting in there. I'm doing my best.
All right.
This is why I program computers. You guys remember when he kind of went like that and then pulled the whole strip off? Like, this is my competition.
It's because you're so short.
That's what it is. I was wishing you were here earlier when I was putting those cables up in the ceiling. So you could just kind of reach up there. How tall are you?
Almost 6'7".
All right.
But this is interesting, right? So now that we're looking at this with the caulking removed,
Yeah.
you can see exactly where the water goes after it gets by that little tiny tunnel. Let's see if it's right in here. Look at that, eh?
Let's give you guys a view of this.
Well, and even it gets it right in. Well, and look at this. You know, when you see the vantage point here, you can see the hole underneath the window, and then in behind on the other side, what do you see? You see a bunch of rusted sill.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we'll put it on. Kids and their noise. They love to make noise, don't they?
No matter what anybody says, it's a big job.
Yeah.
It's
Never a 15
slow going too, eh? So I actually zipped over to our buddies at Allendale Home Hardware. Check this out. Okay. Heavy duty caulking scraper.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
will get right up in there.
But we need to. You're still gonna have to cut it. It's pretty tenacious stuff.
Okay.
That's heavy.
Okay.
Did you get a
Now-
blade? Did you get a blade?
I didn't get a blade. Damn it.
Well,
I got silicone be gone. Rob over there at the hardware store said,
he swears by it, does he?
well, he said, is it silicone? And I said, well, I think it is because it's not quite
No,
cementitious.
No, it's not a silicone.
It's not silicone? Okay, so I said, he said I can return it. Okay, and I got this cool thing, a caulking applicator. You have one of those? I guess it gives it a nice clean edge.
Well, it sort of puts a little concave
divot.
bevel in the middle of it, but
Nice.
we're just going to do just a straight fillet in there.
All right.
And one thing you don't want to do with this particular EcoBond stuff is you don't want to wet your finger. Like a lot of people when they're doing caulking, they'll wet their finger and they'll run it along it. But this stuff dries with moisture, so if you do that, yeah, it's going to stick all over you.
It's like licking a frozen telephone bowl.
Yeah, don't do it.
All right.
Just don't do it. So, anyway.
Does this do what we need? This isn't a blade. It's
You can try
well, it
it.
says tough stainless steel blade.
You know the benefit that you might get from that. Let's see. Let's just grab
supposedly-
one.
Okay.
The only benefit I can see with this specifically is when you're trying to get and clean up this last little bit, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
It's good for that. But in terms of the actual removal of this heavy part of the caulking,
Yeah.
no.
Let's
It's
see.
just-
Let's see. Yeah, because it's got that thing, right?
But okay.
Does it
I
do
want
it?
you to grab a hold of this.
Okay.
So, no, first of all, you're going to grab it, and you're going to cut. Watch your hand on this end, because
Yeah,
you're going to cut your
'cause
hand
that's a
right
blade.
there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Super
that's a sharp
duper
blade.
kind of Swiss. I'm not. Yeah. Watch your.
Watch my knuckles on the
Watch your knuckles on
walls.
the walls.
Yeah. Done that enough.
So. You are really fighting it. But
It's doing it
it's doing it.
like that. And then I can go at it with this. See, I'm nervous now because I've already taken my knuckles out of this.
Yeah, I have to.
Oh, almost lost an eye.
Getting close to it. Okay. I'm going back to my stuff here.
Okay. Do you want one of these?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact.
Is it that miserable?
I'd rather the old tried and true. I normally have my wider chisel than this. Requires a lot less effort too.
Yeah.
But you can struggle along there, Robbie.
Thanks.
You know, and this caulking is pretty tough. This is like
This is nasty.
This
Are you sure this isn't silicone? Because I would love to turn this into caulking.
I'm positive this is not silicone. That scraper would be good just for this last finish here.
Okay. Do you want that? Because it gives a nice...
Yeah, it scrapes it down nicely. Sort of cut the majority of it. On a normal house, you're not going to get stuff this tenacious. So, okay. We're getting there.
It's getting dark.
Yeah, we can't stay at this too much longer.
So what do we do? Do you caulk the stuff that we've removed so far?
No, it's not going to... I mean, you've already got the water damage inside.
Right. Okay.
So we will... I'll come back and I'll do the caulking either tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, you've got a good idea as to what it looks like, what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
And this is...
I'll bring my other chisel. I've got a better chisel.
This stuff is horrible.
It's kind of a thin little ladder. That supports your weight.
Yeah?
I'm not calling you fat or anything. Just doesn't it look kind of flimsy? Like, look at it.
It's great! This is a brilliant ladder, these things. I'm caught on all this brush. There we go. You don't trust that?
I'm feeling a little nervous about it myself. Well, look at it flex when I'm standing, and I'm not that heavy. Oh, you know what? There's very little caulking on this actually.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be easier up there?
It's going to be a lot easier up here.
Can you see where water's...
I'm not going to use this ladder. Look at it. Anyway. Yeah.
So can you see where the water might be going in?
Oh, absolutely. There's a hole right here. Where the water, and actually you can also see the way that the ledge is actually leaning back into the corner, so the water is going to pool there, and then it'll just run back down into the wall. And of course, if you look on the other side, there's a nice handy little channel here, and then it just gets in behind the flashing on the bottom as well. And it just starts running down into the wall assembly. Isn't that exciting? You know, the sides aren't so bad, and the side of the vertical member here adjacent to the window, it's not going to really pool and tend to run in those locations. It's down in the bottom corners that you always want to try to make sure you seal properly, whether it be an aluminum siding sort of material side or brick. A lot of masonry systems in the corner of the windows, and why you see at a lot of older homes conditions where the brick, like if you look at an old brick home, a century home, or even some of the newer homes, you'll notice that it's in line with the cracks are in line with the window, and they'll come and they'll track out this way. It's the water that gets in these corners, and it tracks in behind the wall assembly,
right?
Freezes and cracks. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was suspecting, is that it's inside the wall.
That's what it
sense,
is, right?
yeah.
And that's why when Andy was talking probably a little earlier, if you have a block wall or block conditions like you do here, when it gets onto the top surface and leaks down into the block, then it can start to actually track around anywhere within those voids. And it'll accumulate, pool, crack. I do want to take a look and see if the other side is maybe slightly worse than this one or the same. I must say this ladder's light. I'll give it that. Oh, this one's worse.
How so?
Big void here, and this whole frame is actually pulling away. Look at it up at the top. Oh, yeah. The siding's actually loose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one's bad. Even though you typically don't get water penetration if the crack is small, but this crack in this situation is quite large. And again, down in this corner, sorry for the filming because I'm a horrible photographer, but in this corner, the actual opening is larger as well. So this window is worse than the window on the other side.
Holy cow, folks. Once again, another job that you think is going to be easy, because when it's explained to you, it's, oh yeah, just go at the window like this and then peel it back and re-caulk and you're done. I think we got this window done and we got the door almost done. We've got all the exterior windows to do. We've got 2 more windows here. We've got 2 windows above, 2 windows above here, 2 over the electrical room, and those have to be done. The entrance to our lobby, and this has been a whole night's for 2 guys. So we're gonna try to get some better tools. I got what I thought was gonna be good, but I think it's more appropriate for, say, if you were caulking a bathtub or something like that. Unfortunately, because I thought that was gonna really work at it, maybe get some better X-Acto knives, because we broke a blade, so unfortunately the good X-Acto knife was out of commission, and we'll kind of go from there. So Robert's going to return, make sure that he's able to continue in the next day or 2, and of course I'm going to be back as well. So I'm going to wrap up for tonight. I don't know if you can tell outside, but there's no sunshine anymore. It's getting dark, so we've had to wrap up before we've been able to really complete anything. But at least we're getting started. Now we know, and I think Robert has a better idea as to the actual state of things and how tough this caulking is to get off, and so we need to find a better way to break it apart and get it cut off. So, all right, so the quest continues. Thanks everybody. You've got until Monday. Got until Monday to get a limited edition shirt. If you want to grab one from Teespring, it's in support of getting a new video camera for the show. Teespring.com/category5 is where you can get one of those. That is until Monday the 28th of July 2014. So don't miss out on that opportunity and support the show at the same time. So thanks everybody. Hopefully you learned something, had some fun today as we worked on this stuff. And we will get through it. We'll get this all done. So cheers. Take care. Have a good night.